Democratic Congresswoman from Pennsylvania, Madeline Dean. She is part of the Progressive Caucus. Thank you so much. I know it's a busy day there, Congresswoman. Thanks for being here. Okay, the framework is up. The text is up of the framework. The details are in there. It's open for anybody to see. Are the progressives now ready to vote on that infrastructure bill?
Well, thanks for having that confidence in me that I know all the answers.
I do.
I'll be honest with you. When I don't, I'll be sure to say I don't have the answer. But this is a historic day. I'm very excited. The day began, of course, with a very exuberant, enthusiastic visit to our caucus by the President of the United States, where he laid out the framework. And the framework is exciting. It's $1.75 trillion in investments in our children. Universal pre-K, something I have been fighting for since I was a state representative in Pennsylvania. Universal pre-K, $400 billion for child care and universal pre-K. What an extraordinary, historic investment in our children. $555 billion for climate. And for our planet, the protection of our planet. So these are historic investments. You saw the enthusiastic statement by the chair of the Progressive Caucus. I am a member of the Progressive Caucus. Yeah. And so we enthusiastically support the framework.
Great. So it sounds like you're ready to vote now on infrastructure.
Well, actually, the timing of the calendar and the two bills, both the Speaker and the President over and over again said that these two bills are wedded to each other. These investments, both in our hard infrastructure, our built environment, as well as our environment, and in our people, in seniors and children. These two bills are wedded together. I think procedurally, the clock and the calendar is in the hands of our Speaker, as well as the leader and the whip.
Congresswoman, hold on, because she had just said that she would like to do it now. And the reason that she laid out that she would like to do it now is because there's a deadline coming up this weekend where the transportation funding runs out this weekend. So she would like that infrastructure vote today. So can that happen?
I think it can happen, but I don't know that it will. Certainly they're whipping right now. We have really strong support for the bipartisan infrastructure deal, and now we have strong caucus support for the framework for Build Back Better. Something I wanted to say is that you know, the Speaker talked about lifting the President as he lands in Europe and as he visits with foreign leaders, as he visits with Pope Francis. I want to tell you that if you were in that caucus today, you would have felt the lift that our caucus gave him when he said and asked for our vote. The applause, the standing ovation he received on the framework and many of the elements in it was just extraordinary. So I think we sent him off with a lift. I'm not sure of the clock on the bipartisan infrastructure bill. I, too, wish we could get it done because of the October 31st deadline. We want to avoid any interruption or furloughs for American families. But I have a confidence we will get both of these things done. And I don't know if you saw the statement by former President Barack Obama.
I did.
He said sometimes things move slowly and progress seems very slow, but this is a moment for a giant leap forward. That's an exciting day.
It does sound like something that the log jam or the impasse has broken. So you're happy with what you've seen in the framework, and are you confident that so will Senators Manchin and Sinema be? Because I know that some in your caucus have felt, I don't know, sort of like Charlie Brown and Lucy with the football at times.
I get that analogy. I grew up with Charlie Brown and that football. Certainly, what I heard from the President and from the Speaker is a confidence, and you know that the President negotiated hours, tens upon tens of hours, with Senators Manchin and Sinema around this bill, around this framework. So I have faith in the President, in what he has crafted in the legislation, what we have had to reduce it to as a result of this slim majority in the Senate. But what you are seeing here, even though the birthing pains are painful, is governing. This is Democrats governing, as the Republicans sit on their hands and are a party that is really about anger and mean-spiritedness and disinformation. We are governing, we are investing in a historic way in our children and in our planet. There couldn't be more useful work to be doing.
When one of your fellow progressives, Congresswoman Cori Bush, tells reporters that she feels bamboozled by the framework on the social safety net bill, you disagree. You see it differently.
Well, I don't know why she said that. I don't know what element of it made her feel bamboozled. I am very encouraged by this framework. As I said, if we did just the infrastructure bill, that will be important, historic investment, but by doing every dollar above the infrastructure bill, that's transformational. You know, when we did the child tax credit, that lifted 40% of children who are poor out of poverty. We have to continue that kind of investment in our children, in our families, in our workers, in our seniors. There's $150 billion in this framework for home care. There's another $150 billion for housing. In my district, we have seniors thousands deep in waiting lines for affordable housing. So $150 billion in housing, that's going to be a generational change.
So, Congresswoman, it sounds like you're telling us you don't think it's going to get any better than this for progressives. This is where you are. You're willing to accept this framework. Family leave isn't in it, but it's not going to get any better than what you have today.
Well, but I wouldn't say it with that spirit. I'd say it with the spirit of, this is fantastic. And what we will do, and what the President and the Speaker are committed to, is building back better more in the future. You're right. The paid family leave piece is still trying to be negotiated in, but I will take the framework as it is, as the progressives have said in our statement, and say what is in there to celebrate. There is so much in here to celebrate. And guess what? We've got more work to do once we get this passed.
Congresswoman Dean.
You know, could I say one other thing that I want to make sure your viewers know? It's paid for.
And do you want to tell us how?
Well, number one, tax compliance. We know that as much as $400 to $600 billion a year goes uncollected in income tax, rightfully due income tax. We have to make sure we enforce that and many other things.
Okay, Congresswoman Dean, thank you. We know that this is all just very fluid, and we really appreciate you taking the time to come in and answer these questions.
Thank you for inviting me.
That's the celebratory tone you were talking about at the top. Now,
yes.
Celebrating the elements in the...
And it's a shift.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a shift. We heard Nancy Pelosi and now Congresswoman Dean, who are saying, now we want to celebrate. We're ready to celebrate. But that's